Hello and welcome to another edition of Grandstanders Live. I'm your host, Scott Kerman, and I'm joined by my usual cohorts, the Professor Russ Stevens, Uncle Joe McLaughlin, and he's JP's first son, Tim Hoey. Well, we have another great show for you tonight. So, boys, let's get it started. We have to start with the playoff-bound New England Patriots. I won 500 big ones, boys, because I took the
you weren't
9.5.
Scotty, you weren't nervous at all that whole game, right?
Well, yeah, just think to me, I had 2 games I had to sweat that puppy because I had 9.5 for the win total, so I had to get 10. We finally got 10. Look, that was the best case scenario, guys. You couldn't ask for more than 10 wins this season after what the team had gone through last year and the turnover. It's already been a successful season.
I'd like to see more success. Starting with this week against Miami.
As Dan Shaughnessy would say, so we're happy to make the playoffs now.
No, but from where we've gone, Russ, to where we are, to have a quarterback that you can pencil in for the future. I'm not saying I don't want more. I'm just saying if this is it, this was a great season.
In terms of the baseline expectations we had, if you said if you were going to be 10-6 after 16 weeks, and a quarterback of the future, you'd have been happy. Now our expectations change as they do. It's human nature during the course of the year. So I wouldn't be happy if they lost to Miami and then, went into Cincinnati and got their brains beat in. I'd be pretty bummed. But you beat Miami and you put up a good fight on the road in the first round and you lose a close game. I don't know, I won't be upset at that point.
No. Joe, our expectations after the 2 losses have been brought down big time.
Oh, yeah, we've become more realistic. We're not back at 2-4, but we're assessing the team more realistically. They're an above average team, but just above average. They're not one of the elite teams in the league, nor should they be considered with them. But they can beat Miami.
Would we put their defense in the elite category?
No.
No, I had them there until those 2 losses.
They're just not fast enough, and I think the linebackers aren't strong enough. When you see across the league, there's a lot of good linebackers, and we don't seem to have any of them.
So, would you say the deficiency is who in particular in the linebacking corps?
Well, no, Russ, you bring it up all the time. Just the team speed defensively.
Hightower, Collins, Van Noy. They're a step slow. Bentley, for that matter.
I think, you're thin in the backfield. So God forbid you get another injury. You're slow at linebacker. And, I think the guys up front are pretty good. Their pass rush has fallen off a little bit, but I would expect them to get that back. So I think it's a very good defense. It's not a great defense. It's a very good defense.
Yeah. So Timmy, to answer the question, I think it's top 10. I don't think it's top 5, but statistically it actually comes closer to top 5. I think, again, you can't just remake a defense in one.
I like this team a lot better than that team that went 9-0 a couple of years ago. Beating up on the homeless blind kids there.
Right.
This team has a lot of the same earmarks, Tim.
But
we're playing that third place schedule.
That had a toothless offense, that team. This team, I think, we're a couple of offensive weapons away from being a pretty darn good offense, I think.
We're one top wide receiver away. Right now, this wide receiving core at the very best.
Two top wide receivers,
in there.
Please.
Yeah, when Aguilar's in there, they're average. When he's not in there, they're below average. Would you agree?
Yeah. I think a couple of real serious wide receivers away.
There's only a few above average players on that offense. Harris and a couple of the offensive linemen. Maybe the 2 guards.
I put Stevenson up there. I mean, I'm a big fan of Stevenson as a running back.
He's the 3rd string running back for a reason, Tim.
Yeah, he's still developing. Hopefully,
he's got a good big ceiling. He'll be good in time.
But also, Damian Harris, Russ, he's got to prove that he can stay on the field on a consistent basis.
Yeah, he's been, he's missed a couple of games, but he's in that verge of being injury prone, like not quite injury prone, but kind of on the verge of it. So I'm not that worried about him. I just think I think they're fine at running back, right? I mean, you've got three guys. By the way, the good thing about these three guys is all three of them can catch it and run it a little bit, right? Like Harris can catch it a little bit, Stevenson can catch it, Bolden can catch it, doesn't run as much, but like when one of those guys is in the game, it's not like when it was James White and Sony Michel, which if Sony Michel was in the game, it was going to be a run, and James White was in the game, it was going to be a pass.
Speaking of that, do we ever see James White in a Patriot shirt again?
Wow, that's a great question. Probably, these guys like him seem to last now. They used to fall away and retire, but look, Rex Burkhead is still in the league. So if Rex Burkhead can come back from what
that hip big injury.
James White can come back on
injury.
Look, Mac Jones, this is his first year, but you'd give me Mac Jones is a top 5 quarterback when he plays crappy teams. That's something to be said. But
that's a backhanded compliment.
I don't know, but I know it's not. It's not really a backhanded compliment because this guy in modern football that all of us watched for 50 years would have been holding a clipboard.
Well, he's having a lot of trouble now when against the defenses this time of year are getting better and more complex. And I've noticed he was really good against the vanilla offenses the first 8 games of the season. He's having a lot tougher time making decisions now. Way more conservative than he was earlier in the season.
What worries me about Mac Jones is they said he was the most pro-ready quarterback out there, and that he may have hit his ceiling. He was kind of where he was going to be. Whereas some of these other top prospect quarterbacks had more upside to them. So
I think that's
what is it? What is it? It's figure skating?
I don't know. I'm just going, Scotty. I'm going off what 100 freaking scouts said. That's what I'm basing it on.
Well, I think I'll go with you on this one, Scotty, because I've seen improvement in Mac over the course of this season in a half dozen different categories. He's taking the coaching and he's improving.
I hope so. I hope.
Look, I think
there's a long way to go.
Oh, there is a long way to go.
What I'm saying, what I'm worried about, what I'm scared about, is we're seeing Mac Jones, and this is what a lot of the high-priced scouts out there said, that the Mac Jones you see now is the Mac Jones you're going to get.
Yeah, so a couple of things. One is a lot of those high-priced scouts are responsible for drafting one crappy quarterback after another in the first round over the last 10 years.
Right.
And secondly, but to the point is, does any one of us think that Mac Jones is going to be the best quarterback in the NFL at any given time in his career?
Probably
I don't.
No.
I think he could maybe be a top 5 quarterback, but do I think there's enough upside as he starts to understand the mental part of the game, gets his body in shape and his arms stronger? Can he be a 5 to 10, 5th to 10th quarterback in the NFL for 12 years? I do.
Can you Brady made himself a better quarterback. Mac Jones going to show that same. No, but there's a million guys who haven't done that. Is Mac
Jones?
There's
a lot of guys there's plenty of guys who have made themselves into better quarterbacks.
I'm hoping that Mac Jones is one of those guys.
And there's been plenty of guys who haven't gotten the chance. It takes 4 to 5 years to develop into a serious NFL talented quarterback. Look at Josh Allen. Look at Ryan Fitzpatrick. Look at Tannehill. Look at
Tannehill's a huge. Tannehill. A lot of times it's the second team, which in the case of Trevor Lawrence probably will be when he's not with the Jaguars, when he's with another team, because that is just a terrible franchise.
My God.
That was embarrassing.
He might get Jim Plunkett with the Patriots back in the 70s,
Yeah. But Trevor Lawrence does show that he has a great talent. So I'm going to hold back in saying I would take Mac Jones over Trevor Lawrence. I'm not just right now.
I watched Peyton Manning throw 6 interceptions at Gillette Stadium. So, you know, I don't know if it was his rookie year or one of those years early on. So, I still believe Trevor Lawrence is going. He needs to. That environment is horrible down there.
Yeah, Troy Aikman was 1-15. Peyton Manning was 2-14 their first years. They're in the Hall of Fame.
So, boys, is this Belichick's best coaching season? In fact, he's actually being considered for not only Coach of the Year, which they should name the award after him, but GM of the Year. It just seems that this has been a fantastic performance coaching-wise overall. And if it wasn't for the
it reminds me of 2008. They're winning the games they're supposed to win, and they're losing the games they're supposed to lose.
I don't think you could ever look past 2001 in his coaching job, right? Like that was ridiculous. I think we need to see what happens in the playoffs. If they go out in the first round, if they go into Buffalo or Cincinnati and get their brains beat in, I think he took a good team and made it, you know, very good at times this year, right? But, you know, if they get their brains beat in and don't advance further, I don't know, like it was a good coaching job, but not his best.
Yeah,
So,
I agree.
Do we
the
judge?
Dolphins.
We're a playoff town, right? I mean, we judge on how far you go.
Yeah.
Look, and of course, the Red Sox were such a surprise to get to the playoffs, and they played so well in the playoffs. And of course, we wanted more. I mean, I'm still bitter.
The fairy dust wore off.
Yeah, and then look, the last thing we want to do on our resume is have a playoff loss from the Cincinnati Bengals.
No,
no,
They haven't had a playoff win in so many years. It's been decades.
I just don't
think you got to go back to Boomer.
I don't see Bill Belichick losing to anything with Cincinnati in front of it.
Yeah.
Here's the thing, though, guys. Like, this is what we said. I remember saying vividly, Bill Belichick is not going to lose a Super Bowl to Nick Foles. And guess what? Bill Belichick lost a Super Bowl to Nick Foles because they were the better team that day. We could easily go into Cincinnati and get beat by. They have a more talented team than we do.
And I know Belichick has no respect for that Zach Taylor, the coach. I mean, he really snubbed him the last time they played him.
Yeah, well, he better have respect for him.
Oh, yeah. Well, you got to have respect for Joe Burrow. Geez, that guy's going off now.
Right.
There's another guy. Takes 3 years. Took him 3 years to become a pro.
Well, look, he has Justin Herbert's number. Bill Belichick does. I feel like that's, hopefully he has Burrow's number. First-time quarterbacks facing the New England Patriots tend to have problems. You're going to show him stuff that he hasn't seen before. I don't want to go back to Buffalo. I don't want to deal with that at all. Maybe later on in the playoffs, send me to Cincinnati and we'll take our chances.
Yeah, right. Timmy, would you rather play Cincinnati than Buffalo?
All day. I'm a little scared of Buffalo right now.
Yeah.
I think their quarterback, I think that kid is the real deal, man. You know what kills me, a guy like him is, 3rd and 4, gotta get it. He runs for 10 yards. That's that intangible that I hate.
Right.
It scares the crap out of me.
When we talked about the Red Sox, we talked about even in the offseason after going to the ALCS, getting to Game 6, we said this team could get almost blown up. And the Patriots almost blown up, kind of, when you look at it. There's a lot of guys who are on this team right now who will not be on the team next year. Is that just how sports is right now, no matter what kind of a roster you have?
No, I think in this case, you just get a bunch of contracts ending, right? You just happen to have a bunch of veterans who are coming off of contracts next year.
They always have at least a third turnover every year. This year was really a big one. It was like half.
You literally could have all the linebackers, a whole new linebacking core this year. A whole new linebacking core on a team that's going to make the playoffs. And again, we don't know how far they're going to go. That's pretty remarkable.
Yeah, the only returning starter was Bentley.
Right.
The other 3 were elsewhere last year.
Bentley's a free agent, which Russ, I got to believe that they'll probably sign Bentley, trying to have somebody in the linebacker room that knows where the bathroom is.
Yeah, I mean, look, if Hightower still wants to play, I could see him coming back for a pay cut, right? I wouldn't imagine Jamie, it'll be either Hightower or Collins. He'll probably try to sign one of them.
If you had your choice, Rush, which one do you take?
Look,
Neither has been very good.
Hightower
Yeah.
has been so great in the playoffs. Like, I'd love to see what happens in a playoff game with Hightower when he's got the engine running on all cylinders,
You're gonna hopefully
He's got
see that.
more gravitas than Jamie Collins does
Yeah.
in that locker room too.
Right.
Yeah, Timmy, you talked about Jamie Collins. We were happy about getting him. He really hasn't played any factor.
I haven't heard his name called on many plays.
Yeah.
I was a huge fan of his athleticism, and we've seen him do some freakish things out there. And
That interception earlier.
yeah, he doesn't seem to be, that Jamie Collins anymore.
All right, boys. Well, we got Miami. It's a game. Are we all in, or is Brian? Or
You know what happens? My son Ryan's going down. He's going down to a rugby tournament to play on the beach rugby.
Oh,
He's
fun.
going to the game.
Don't be like John Stevens.
Yeah, I know.
Now they moved the game to 4:25, guys. Is the Bills game still at 1?
Yes,
Yeah.
we're gonna know.
So the Bengals game is still at 1.
How many times have we gone down to Miami and we're supposed to kick the crap out of them, and it's always a game. It's always a battle down there.
Okay, Belichick does not care about what the NFL thinks. So if he wants Cincinnati and he has to lose that game to get Cincinnati, is he tanking?
He may. I don't know. I mean, look, the big question was when they take a look at those two teams, who would he rather play? He's already played Buffalo twice, so they have the book on him. The preparation's not that hard. Would they rather go, prepare for an opponent who's got a more talented quarterback, but that team isn't that much more talented than the Patriots? Or do they go to Cincinnati and play a team they haven't played? Those receivers are probably the best receivers in the NFL, right? With a really hot young quarterback. I don't know. I'm not sure that he's looking at it saying, I'd rather play Cincinnati over Buffalo.
So sorry, I've just looked it up. Patriots 425.
Yeah, the Patriots are on at 425.
Yeah, they got flexed.
Yeah.
I always like that much better. You get the daylight during the day, and then you settle in at 4:25. It gets dark around here at 3:30. But you get you have your day and settle in, and it's going to be very interesting. Remember, he did tank a game against Miami some years back when he wanted a
couple of times.
Yeah, he's done that before. We'll know quickly, because if all of a sudden Stidham's behind the center.
Well, they could still be the number 1 seed too.
Yeah, that's never happened.
It's so far, you need 3 upsets and then beat Miami, but
that's not happening.
They could easily be the 2 or the 3 seed though. Also,
if you had
it's
some
only
of the Red
1 or
Sox,
2.
if you had some of the Red Sox luck from this year, from 21, everything would have just come into place. And next thing, can you imagine if they were the 1st seed? That would be one of the biggest shockers in our sports life. It's less than 1%.
I forget who it is. If someone loses in the 1:00 game, then the Chargers and the Raiders both get in the playoffs if they tie. And they're playing each other. So the NFL won't allow it to happen, but they could both kneel down the whole game and go to the playoffs because of it.
Oh my God. Yeah, there could be some situations. Yeah.
Should NFL security be following those 2 coaches right now?
Well, no, they would call it making a disgrace of the game or something, poor unsportsmanlike conduct or something, and they would tell them they have to play the game.
Well, needless to say, the NFL would not want that game to go into overtime. That would be because now overtime's only 10 minutes. When did they change that rule?
They've tinkered with it every year at the last 10 years. That's why.
Should they go down? Should it go like a hockey shootout have first field goes from 25, second field goal.
Yeah, right.
35.
Seven, like hockey, 7-on-7 for the first 10 minutes.
Hey, what's better? I tell you, I love that 3-on-3 off overtime in the NHL.
Oh my God.
I love
Yeah.
it.
I don't know why they just don't do that the whole time.
And
know,
surprise, the Bruins have been good at it.
I'd love to see 3-on-3 all the time.
Yeah, no, but I'm saying, yeah, just until it decides the game. And then after 10 minutes, go 2-on-2.
then a goalie fight to the death.
The shootout is stupid.
A ladder match.
The shootout's ridiculous, right? The
I
shootout
see it decided in a shootout, you know.
is just stupid.
Yeah.
Now,
But the only thing good about a shootout is, you know, if you're a hockey player, we all love that, you know, breakaway goal and you work on your little dissect move or whatever, you know what I mean? So that's for the kids that, you know, most practices in hockey end with a shootout competition. That's how you end your practice typically.
I know, but it's so watered down now to me that it's no fun anymore.
Yeah, it's fake
Yeah.
drama.
Yeah, and now a penalty shot, Russ, they took that away. That used to be a big deal in the NHL when someone got a penalty.
Right.
I mean, even no matter what the score of the game was, that was the headliner. They had a penalty shot.
Because all
Right.
kids practiced, all kids since they were 7 years old are practicing that move, a move. You know what I mean?
And mini one-on-one, they don't still remember
Mini
the
one-on-one.
You got the little tykes out there playing 10-on-10 now. You know what I mean?
You got to hand it to.
That was a definite bathroom break, though.
Another
I used to watch that.
Oh yeah.
I used to
When I coached, we played. Sometimes we played before the Bruins. Sometimes we played between periods. It was very exciting. But they sell about 400 tickets when they do that. You know.
Yeah, that's what they used to do. All right, boys, predictions. Russell.
I think that I think we're gonna beat them. We're gonna break this curse and beat them pretty good. So I don't think we're gonna score a ton of points. 27-17.
Wow. Okay.
Yeah.
Joseph.
I'm with Russ, and even more so. I'll go 33-10. I'm up in your stratosphere.
Wow. All right, Timmy boy.
I think it's going to be a nail biter. The Patriots 27-24.
Yeah, I think the Patriots are going to
It's
lose.
going to be a nail biter. I think.
I think the Patriots are going to lose. I think they're going to rest some key guys. I think that he's going to take rest and making sure the fellas are all set for next week. Over.
Hey, Scotty, that Jimmy G shirt looks really good on you.
Oh, he isn't wearing, is it?
Man, I don't have it.
Is it under the sweatshirt?
If Hanson Todd wants to bring it,
Can I,
I will be the first one to wear it, no matter what.
Can I go on the record and say that if it happened to be that I had lost 2 consecutive
We would have
weeks,
got it to you.
you would have been a FedEx on my
FedEx.
doorstep last Thursday morning.
Hey,
for
sir, can you
Christmas.
sign for this package?
I think your front door would have been painted with a 10 on it, Russ.
He would have sent one of his boys down as an Uber delivery driver.
Yep, I would have walked it to you.
One of the twins would have been knocking on your door.
Absolutely,
Ridiculous.
but we'll get you that. I know you want to wear it, Rusty boy, and we'll make sure you do. That's for
No,
sure.
but by the way, if you lose this one, that means you've lost 3 to me and us over the last 4 weeks. You're gonna have to wear that Jimmy G shirt like to your 25th wedding anniversary.
No, I'm only wearing that 1 week.
Who won last week? Who won the prediction?
No one did. We didn't have a show.
Yeah, right. There you go.
Before
So
that.
I didn't lose. That's the most important thing.
You lost the previous 2.
I had the Pats losing 28-14.
Last
Yeah,
week.
you and
I
I had
No,
them.
I had the Bills. I had the Bills winning 28-21. I had a
Well, that was, no, but the Jaguars was. I had the Patriots winning 50-10. How did it
I'm
go?
talking about the Bills game.
Oh, all right. I don't know how it.
I-
I wrote the Bills. I wrote the Bills. And Scotty had the Pats winning.
Let's put it this way. I'm the
25
only one
to
who picked the 2 consecutive losses. So I'm the last person to wear this Jimmy G shirt.
What was
We
the
have a
final?
long way to go.
What was the final of that Bills game?
I can't remember.
I don't know. It wasn't pretty. All right. I have the Patriots losing 27-17, and I think that it's guys like Hightower, Harris will be sitting. We got to rest these guys. I would much rather have the rest, and I think that Russ is right. I think that Bill does not mind who he plays and probably likes the familiarity of the Bills for the team, and has no problem about going in there.
So if we lose, we're more likely to get Cincinnati.
I don't know. it's pretty close either way, right? It's like a third, 33%. Both.
Well, it all depends on what Cincinnati and the Bills do too.
Now Cincinnati's not playing Burrows now.
Yeah.
So
They're not playing Mixon either.
yeah, they're laying down. So I don't know. Maybe they want to play the Patriots. Maybe they want to play the Patriots.
I wonder what
They would play the Bills, right?
Well, yeah.
So should we investigate what the spread is on that particular game where Burrow's not playing?
Oh, I'm sure, Vegas figured that out pretty quickly, Timmy. I'm sure they got the news. But it's going to
It
be very
gets taken
interesting.
right off the board
Yeah,
usually.
yeah, right. Before we go away from the NFL, the Antonio Brown situation, that happened partly because Tom Brady made sure that Antonio Brown was in the league until that happened, because that was the least surprising thing that you probably saw on Sunday, that he had that meltdown. And that's about as classic of a meltdown as I've ever seen in sports.
But don't you love the Buccaneers' hands are tied because he was injured and the coach told him to get out of here? They're tied. They'll have to pay him. If they want to get rid of him, they got to pay him every penny.
Oh, is that right? I didn't know that.
Yeah, he's injured, and they've got outside doctors saying that, yes, he's injured and couldn't play.
Could he sue for those bonuses too, I wonder?
No, he will get every penny, Tim.
Every bonus dollar, everything, huh?
Yeah, everything that was guaranteed coming to him because he's guaranteed for injury.
No, but that wasn't guaranteed. The bonuses weren't guaranteed, were they? Those
Yeah,
three
signing bonuses are always guaranteed.
Oh, he had three bonuses, each worth $333,000. A touchdown, he needed one touchdown, like eight.
Oh.
I know, but no, but
Oh no, you don't get those.
They spin things crazy now. All of a sudden, Antonio Brown had become a sympathetic character in an hour. Russ, give me some sanity here. No, I'm not even making that up. What was Antonio Brown even doing in the league? How many bad things does he have to do, including phony vaccination card?
It's Tom's house guest.
Yeah. Oh, can't hear you, Russie. Can't hear the sound.
Maybe Russ got muted somehow.
Sorry about that. Yeah, I muted it. Yeah, look, Brady, supported Brown in a human way and all that, which fine. But the problem is like, it didn't become evident just this Sunday that this guy had mental problems and that he needed help. It was evident for a long time. So that's what's disingenuous about it. It's like, yeah, does this guy need mental help? Absolutely. Was it apparent to everyone involved that he needed mental help before he took his shirt off on Sunday? Absolutely. So it's like everyone wanted to have it both ways. Right?
Yeah,
right.
And I heard a good analogy for him. The second he feels like he has any leverage on anyone, whether it be a truck driver delivering something to his house, a woman he's in a relationship with, a football team, the second he feels like you need me, he becomes a jerk.
Well, he's more than a jerk. And Bruce Arians tries to act. He's a weird looking thing. I don't know what the deal. What is it? Is that like some life support system he carries around on the sidelines? It's really weird. But all of a sudden, they kept on asking him, "Are you going to bring Antonio Brown back after this vaccination card?" He said initially no, then yes, I'm doing that for the best of the team. And then the moment the meltdown comes, the first thing he's like, Antonio Brown's not on the team anymore. Really? Who's running the show over there?
And he's still on the team, so
yeah, it's just a joke. I mean,
Scotty, if that team took him back and they won a Super Bowl, they'd have a parade just for Antonio Brown. That's the way pro sports are these days. We love our championships. We love our W's. We don't care if it's a rapist out there doing it. We don't care if it's a child murderer. If they win for a town, this country we seem to forget everything.
Yeah,
I love Manny. He was a cheater. I love Rodney Harrison. Another one caught. If they're our bad guys, they're good guys.
When Aaron Hernandez get arrested, well, can they just let him out on Sundays? You know what I mean?
Ray Lewis. I mean, he's responsible for two people's deaths, and he was on Madden. Whatever, he was on the cover of Madden.
He's got a national gig. Yeah,
not in the white suit though.
They have a statue of him in front of this stadium. Yeah, nobody cares about anything. But that was a bizarre scene. We've seen some pitchers basically take their uniform off and walk off the mound and stuff like that. But nothing like this, and only in New York City, which was so apropos.
Mhm.
All
It was,
started,
just like Randy Moss. Randy Moss did the same thing in Minnesota, remember? In a playoff game, he walked off the field in the middle of the game,
Yeah, through his
the
gloves.
middle of the play.
Right, yeah. Wide receivers.
No.
There's no bigger divas in professional sports than wide
That's right.
receivers.
Yeah.
All right, boys, we go to the Boston Red Sox. I know Russ doesn't like to talk about this because of the lockout, boys, but we got to talk about it. It's January. We're soon going to get billed for our season tickets. So there's reason to talk about it. Look, Christian Vasquez, it was very close from what I'm hearing that they didn't even pick up this guy's option. Apparently a guy, Stallings in the Pirates, they really tried to acquire. Is Christian Vasquez the catcher in opening day? Because it sounds like Chaim Bloom doesn't want that to happen.
They've got to
Given
get
this, yeah.
They have to get a suitable replacement. Like, it's one thing, to have him not be the starter. It's another thing to replace him with somebody who's as good or better. And Plawecki isn't a guy who can play 100 games. They need a guy who can play 120 games. Who's going to do that?
Vasquez is so bad, though, Russ, apparently statistically.
They overused him last year. He played more games than any Red Sox catcher going back like 40 years. He just played too many games. And you saw his offense fall off dramatically.
I could take him or leave him. I don't, I'd be fine. Like, just show me who's going to play instead of him, because Plawecki can't play that many games.
Yeah.
It just has a feeling of a big blockbuster trade. I have a sense that I'm predicting a 10-player deal. I think there's going to be some. No, why you laugh? I seriously think there's going to be a deal where
there's no players under contract right now. That's
where we're bringing back like a catcher and a pitcher and a reliever, and we're giving up prospect.
Who are you trading though? How are we doing this?
Duran.
Yeah, the dude.
Casas.
I don't know. This JD Martinez could go.
Yeah, I think JD, like,
Timmy won't like that.
Xander could go.
Gone. Who?
Look, Xander could go. Yeah.
Well, he won't be going to a team like the Pirates then, if they like that catcher.
There's going to be something big's going on. You can just feel Chaim Bloom is ready to make a huge move. That Hunter Renfroe deal, he's not going to have some. Jackie Bradley's not playing regularly in the outfield. We're going to go get ourselves.
Oh, no. Let's hope not, anyways.
You can't have a guy that hit 30 home runs, fellas, and then replace him with just any schmuck. They're going to replace him with a top guy. Things are going to happen, boys. And you better be.
Isn't that new guy Hernandez going to be the center fielder?
What new guy? Hernandez?
Yeah, that Edwin Hernandez, whatever.
I don't think so.
He came over from the National League. Heim picked him up.
Who's that? For the Red Sox?
Yeah.
When did he do that? I've never heard of
just
him.
before the deadline. From Kansas City.
I don't
20 home run guy, center fielder.
Really?
Yeah.
No, wait, no, I don't even know what you're talking. You guys know what he's talking about?
I kind of vaguely remember it, but I don't remember his name or if he's a starting.
Yeah,
type.
it's been so long that since everyone's thought about the Red Sox because of this, lockout. They're out of sight, out of mind.
Well, needless to say, when do you guys think this lockout? I can't believe that this is going to go on much longer.
There's no end to Major League Baseball stupidity.
Yep.
Those people, you throw all of them into a room and they just make each other stupider. So they don't have I don't think they have a commissioner who's particularly good. I don't think the head of the Players Association is good. I hope you're right, but man, I don't know. It could go on forever.
Yeah, man.
The players don't care if they miss spring training. They don't. So there's no, urgency at all on their part. And it doesn't seem to be any urgency on the part of management. They're the ones locking them out. So there's no one moving.
I can't believe I'm saying this, fellas. Rob Manfred is the worst commissioner in sports.
He's really bad.
He's worse than Goodell. How's that possible?
And he gets Ken Rosenthal fired because he had an innocuous article criticizing him.
That's very scary that he had that guy, and he's well respected. He's been around forever. The man is like 3 feet tall and wears a bow tie. How can you hate him?
He's tiny. He's tiny. You
Oh my
see what
God.
you feel with these interviews. He's with the little bow tie on.
Steve's cousin there, Tim, again, a tiny guy. He stands on a soapbox when he does his interviews.
Tim Kirchin, yeah, absolutely. Yeah, I mean,
stand on a milk crate to do the interviews.
I mean, yeah, he could get a part-time job as a bowling ball. I mean,
The bow tie. What's with the bow tie? I don't get it.
I used to love midget wrestling. Oh my God, I can't tell you when those guys. Remember, they used to all of a sudden it would always be a surprise, and they would just run in the ring.
One would come out from under the ring.
Yeah. Oh,
Little
my
people
God.
wrestling. Buddy, little people wrestling.
What's that?
Little people wrestling.
Oh, they know who they are.
Come on.
That's what they called it. That's what they called it. I'm just. They called it midget wrestling.
Yes.
All right.
Expect some letters, Scott. That's all I can tell you.
Do people actually handwrite letters now?
Expect some tweets.
Yeah, right.
Mac Jones did to all his offensive linemen.
I know. You know what he gave them? He gave them Bitcoin.
Really?
Yeah, he
Yeti
gave.
coolers.
Yeah.
A Bitcoin?
No, I don't think a full
No.
Bitcoin, but he
Half
gave
a
him
Bitcoin?
stuff. Yeah.
He only's making $4 million.
Yeah, he's a first round pick. Top 15 make pretty good money.
No, $4 million a year was the deal he signed. I think. Would you sign him right now if you could get a good deal?
Who?
Yeah.
Mac?
Jones, would you
No,
give
you make him
He's
play
already
for-
signed for the next 4 years.
Make him play for 2 more years. I mean, we've seen this 1,000 times. Like, you don't have to sign him. There's no reason to sign him right now. Maybe at the end of next year, but let's make this guy prove himself. If he goes and craps the bed in the playoffs, you're not going to be that happy about Mac Jones.
Cam to a 7-year deal.
You did, Timmy, not me.
Well, remember, Scotty wanted to tie up Cam Newton,
I
too.
remember sitting in that bar in Brookline, Scotty saying, "Should we sign him today?"
Oh, it's so true. I know, it's so true. He did that.
Pull the tape.
I know. It's like a 7-year deal. I think we had signed to Cam Newton. 140 million. I think he'd do it.
Thankfully, Belichick kept it in his pants, huh?
That's why we're here, and they're in Gillette Stadium, and the security lets them in.
And we had 2
Right.
good games. Sign him.
Jimmy, I knew you would say that. You're like Pavlov's dog. I knew I could not get away with that.
I remember the
A
moment.
legend at
I think
Hamilton.
I was stuffing my face with food as you were saying.
Yeah, you didn't
They
choke
did
on
have good food there.
You boys, you know, every time now I mention an extension, here comes old JP's first son to pipe in.
That was a great one. Sign him. Lock him up.
You never know who can take them, you know. Oh my God, I couldn't even do a screen pass.
Oh my
Couldn't
God.
even throw a screen.
It goes straight into the ground. It's like spiking it. It looks like Gronk spiking the ball.
Oh my God, the floor on our quarterbacks that play for the Patriots is so low right now. All right, boys, go to the Celtics. And what are you all surprised about? They win 2, they lose 2, they win 3, lose 3.
No, I went
This
to the
is a
game.
500. This is
I went to the
literally
game where our main man there, just some of my senior moment here. Tatum didn't play. They look good. They,
Yeah, but they were playing the B team,
I
the
know,
worst team in the league.
I know. And Time Lord was having his way. They had no center for
Orlando.
for the Suns, I believe, right?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, Ayton was out.
But you weren't sitting around waiting for Tatum to heave those threes up. It was the first time in a long time I saw them play a team game and not with 20 seconds left to isolate on Tatum and blah, 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 that crap that we put up with, They actually look like a functioning unit, I don't know.
But Russ, we cannot trade Jason Tatum. There's no
No,
stare at
it's
that.
not. Look, it's great conversation for the national reporters, right? I've been every podcast over the last 2 weeks has mentioned, is it time for the Celtics to break up Jason Tatum and Jaylen Brown? And the answer is no, because they actually haven't had enough time together on the court with people surrounding them who will make them better. So that's what the next thing to do is to clear some of these guys out and bring some players in who can shoot the ball, spread the floor, and allow these guys to be the players and operate in space that they can be. So you start with probably Marcus Smart, right, who has some value in the league, and you push out 3 guys who can't shoot in Smart, Schroeder, and Richardson, at least 2 of them, and bring in at least 1 guy who's just a great shooter. And then let's see what we got.
You know, we thought we had that with Neesmith. That's why they drafted him. So
But he's not getting any. I mean, look, I don't think he may stink, but he's not getting a lot of time.
Yeah.
Right.
He came in here as
He's
like
not getting the time to develop a rhythm. That's
No.
for
led
sure.
the nation in 3-point shooting in college, right?
Yeah. I mean, you don't give up on a guy like Neesmith. I think you give up on Langford. Like Langford's 3rd year, the dude just can't shoot, period.
So
End of
Neesmith
conversation.
came in here. We thought we were getting the next Steve Kerr, right? That guy. If you left him open for a 3-pointer, put 3 on the board. That's what we thought.
But even Steve Kerr, I bet you if you looked at the first 2 years of Steve Kerr's career, he probably didn't shoot that well. And if he did, he was probably getting 25 minutes a night.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
It is a bit of culture shock. You go from being the best player on the court every night to all of a sudden you're the worst player on the court every night when you hit the NBA. It's a big change.
But there's something like, he's just a shooter. Those guys around the league, when we play them, you see them open and the ball in their hands, and there's no one within 5 feet of them. You go, oh, there's 3 points. We all know those. We know those guys, right?
Yeah.
Like why?
Even Horford, no.
Why couldn't Neesmith be that guy?
Well, he can, but you got to play him 20 to 25 minutes a night for 35 games and give the guy a chance to get into a rhythm, right? I mean, Josh Richardson's played well for this team, but he's not the future. Schroeder, I'm done with the Schroeder experiment. It's over. Like it's time to move him on and give Pritchard some playing time.
Yeah.
Right?
He can't space the floor at all. I love watching him, but he's not a ball handling guard.
No.
He doesn't make the other guys better.
Well, I assume that Brad's holding out for a first-round pick, a future first-round pick from
or a player who has years left who you might be able to develop, right? Something
But
like
he
that.
better not wait too long, because there's going to be a lot of players out there that teams are going to be more than happy to dump for anything.
Yeah.
That's a fine point, right? You wait too long, you do it too soon. There's the sweet
Look, the guy I would love to see them bring in is De'Aaron Fox from Sacramento, who's just
How about the kid that's better there, Halliburton?
Yeah, but he's younger. If I'm Sacramento,
and
I'm
he
giving up.
doesn't cost as much.
Right, but if I'm Sacramento, I'm not trading Halliburton. I'm not trading
Yeah.
the cheap guy. I'm going to trade the expensive guy, right?
Yeah, but Fox can't shoot. That's the
Yeah,
problem.
but Fox is a legitimate playmaking point guard, right?
Yes, I'll give you that.
Which we have not had
Right.
here.
Rondo.
Since Kyrie.
Since Rondo. I mean, not even Kyrie.
Yeah.
Kyrie was a ball hog,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah, he wasn't was he a point guard?
Yeah, Timmy's right. I don't think we've had that point guard in Boston, because Isaiah was a weird point guard. Kyrie was a weird point guard. Kemba was shot. Like since Rondo, I give me Rondo.
Like one of those guards where you're saying after the game, like there were like 3 oh my God passes during the game,
How much would they have to give?
They'd have to give Smart, one of the young guys, and probably 3 picks.
I don't think you'd have to give that much for Fox.
He's
a max guy?
He's a 24-year-old guy who's under contract, who's got to still have a high ceiling. Maybe not, but I think you'd have to give up Smart, a young guy, and at least 2 picks.
Well, they have to make a move. There's no question that they have to get a true point guard.
Yeah.
And more and more, guys, I was thinking that whole Rajon Rondo as a player coach, that would have been fun.
Yeah, because with Fox, where Fox has been out lately, I noticed that Halliburton is averaging more than 10 assists a
He's
game.
playing very well, Halliburton is. And then they
And he
drafted
can shoot.
Mitchell's brother. They drafted Spider Mitchell's brother has been really good too. They've got 3 point guards, three lead guards out there. So
we might be able to get them for pry one away for less than market value.
We could have got Halliburton, right? Didn't he slide?
No, he did, but he didn't slide far enough. And we didn't have enough ammunition at that last draft, right? The ammunition we had was the Langford draft.
The 2019 draft for the Patriots and the Celtics could possibly be those franchises for a decade or more.
Yeah.
The Patriots draft, they had 3 of the first 80 were Joe's best friend, N'Keal Harry, Timmy's best friend, Jawan Williams, and Russ loves the long hair, Chase Winovich. Those 3 guys, when you needed to get top players in that draft, and all 3 of them complete bust.
Yeah.
And and the same with the Celtics, not getting Tybold and some other players, and getting that trash in 2019. It's tough to recover from those things.
It is.
I'm gonna miss.
Yeah, because it's not coming around again anytime soon. That's for sure.
Well,
that was the whole thing with Danny. He was building up to that point.
it could come around this year if these guys blow it. I mean, there's a version of life where these guys trade off Richardson,
out of in the lottery.
trade off Richardson, trade off Schroeder. All of a sudden, they start sitting guys, and they end up in the lottery and get a top 10 pick. That could happen.
Which is what they probably need to do, because they're not going anywhere this season.
They're not going to win the championship this year. No.
Yeah.
No, not with all the luck in the world on their side.
Yeah, no, there's not.
So my problem with Udoka, I mean, I think, Timmy, you were at the game maybe, there was a game last week where, all of a sudden they start throwing it in the high post to Robert Williams. What Robert Williams gets a triple-double is 10 plus assists.
The Phoenix game.
And he also had a bunch of turnovers, though, Russ.
Yeah, but that's not like it doesn't. And then Ime gets quoted in the paper the next day saying, "Well, I didn't realize that Robert Williams was such a good passer." We all knew that Robert Williams was a great passer.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And Al Horford is good in
He's
that
a good
high,
passer.
out in the high
I
post.
remember 3 really horrible attempts by Williams, though, that were like ludicrous attempts at passes.
Yeah, I know.
But he
but
was
you can
making the
coach that
effort
out
to
of
do it.
him.
That one behind the back pass on the breakaway there, and there were a couple of really questionable pass attempts by him. But he, you keep trying. I guess, how do you get better than you keep trying, right?
Right. Exactly.
Well, look, is Udoka the right head coach moving?
I don't know. I mean, we have to see how he improves. Does he improve? Like if he gets better, it's fine. Like, you can't expect him to be a great coach on day one.
Well, look, I think they missed the boat. And Joe and I, we believe Carol Lawson, who now is the Duke.
I think that would have been such a great move.
That would have
on about 4 different levels.
Look, it's pretty clear, and we've spoken about before, that Udoka has not gotten to Jason Tatum in any way, shape, or form.
Well, come on. The jury's still out on him. Let him have at least 1 year.
He hasn't made an impact on Tatum. Tatum's doing the same shit, different day.
Did anyone get to these, top NBA stars? I don't know if anyone can get to them.
Probably not, but Carol Lawson would have changed a lot of things, and at the very least would have made a 500 team a hell of a lot more interesting.
And it would have made them hard to talk back to him like they talk back to Udoka.
This is a different age we live in now. These top 25 NBA players, they go where they want, they do what they want. That's it. And if you don't like it, there's 15 guys lined up to take me.
Russ, you think Carol Lawson could be if they take the Udoka experience? Obviously they'll give him another year, but do you think Carol Lawson's in line to be the next coach of the Boston Celtics?
Well, if she's still around, yeah. I mean, if they give Ime another year and they have to fire him, yeah, sure. I think that they've got the problem that Brad is up against right now is their starting lineup, their preferred lineup, has played 83 minutes all year. Their
Right.
second preferred lineup is 53 minutes. They're the only team in the league that has had no lineup play more than 100 minutes all year.
I
Right.
saw that they have lost more minutes to COVID than any other team in the league.
And I'm not using this as an excuse, but I am saying, like, if you are trying to drive up a sample size to figure out what the hell you do from here, they haven't had it. And so,
But part of your argument, Russ, in the past has been, is Jaylen Brown a guy who's going to show up on a consistent level, or is he injury prone?
he could be injury prone. Like, there's the answer to that is, well, that you got a bunch of players who are injury prone and you're never going to have a full lineup, but so Brad, I don't envy Brad's position right now. Not at all, because I don't think he has enough data to know exactly what to do. And the clock is ticking on Brown and Tatum, right? You're going to have to make a decision probably by the summer on what do you do with them. So
Why?
if I'm him.
Well, why does it have to be that quick?
Well, because Jaylen will have
Jaylen.
2 years left in his contract starting this summer.
Right.
And a guy is probably at the height of his value with 18 months left on his contract. So next trade deadline is probably the absolute highest value that Jaylen Brown will ever have on the trade market.
And it's not a max contract. It's a reasonable
Not
contract.
a max contract. So he has 1 calendar year to figure out if these two guys can win a championship together. That's it.
Well, I think Jaylen Brown actually stays on this team longer than Jason Tatum does.
Could be.
Oh,
I don't know.
Scotty,
He's $15 million a year cheaper
what are we?
right off the bat.
Well, to go through the last 2 or 3 years, is he out 35% of the games average?
Around
No,
that.
I
He
don't
didn't,
have to
Like
look.
it, but
He's
put it this
missed
way.
a lot this year. I know that.
he didn't
He
play in the
missed-
playoffs. He didn't play in the playoffs last year. And by the way, I like him. I like him better than Tatum in many ways,
Yeah.
but he didn't play in the playoffs. That's not good.
but
Take-
now
you can criticize Jason Tatum for a lot of things. Other than COVID, that guy's an Iron Man. That guy does not miss basketball games.
Yeah, right. And that's important when you have the Gordon Haywards of the world who are more than happy to miss.
Right.
every
Really
game.
important. Really important.
Absolutely. That's everything. All right, boys, we go to the Boston Bruins.
Timmy, we're on a roll.
A typical
Stanley Cup or
500 people.
bust, Timmy.
Timmy's going to go down to Providence and get him a Tuukka Rask shirt.
So wait, differing. Is Tuukka on the team?
No.
No,
It's a mystery right now.
Because
he's
I have to-
he's signing with a minor league, so we'll have a pro contract, and he's going to go down there and play some games and see if he can still play.
Have you ever seen a situation like Tuukka's currently?
They blew it.
Why?
Well, I would have kept the 2 kids. If you knew you're going to bring Tuukka back, why the hell are you signing the guy for $30 million?
That's what I don't understand.
That's the head scratching contract of the decade. You know,
Yeah, they got rid of the one. No, they got rid of one kid, right?
Yeah, and he's done very well for himself, thanks.
Yeah, you don't want to be you do not want to be a GM who gave away a young goaltender.
I don't know why they gave this guy the contract they gave him. I just don't understand.
And he's been terrible, right?
He's not terrible, but he's not outstanding either.
He's not winning them games. He's doing an adequate job, but
But where are they? I mean,
Tim, what do you make of the splitting up of the perfection line and putting Smith up there and Pasternak down? I mean, they've scored a bunch of 5-on-5 goals.
you had one. I know it's working out, right? I mean, Coyle actually got a big goal the other night. Someone on, if it helps these other guys, you're not going to win with only one line scoring, and that's what was happening with this team. I mean,
But even they weren't scoring. Pasternak wasn't scoring all year.
I know
Terrible.
he was snake bit there for a while. I mean, it's weird. I was looking at the rosters, and not a lot of guys in the Bruins have a lot of goals. I mean, guys you've never heard on other teams have more goals than our top guys.
Pasternak and Hall put together guys have more than those two.
Yeah, I mean, the Bruins just don't score a lot of goals, and they have some skilled guys. They just can't seem to put it over that red line. It's very frustrating.
doesn't it feel like this is just trending in all of a sudden they're going to have to do the
We
rebuild.
have guys who almost score more than anyone in the league.
That's a good way of putting it.
But the rebuild's happening. It's coming soon to a theater near you. I mean, this is.
Well, there's a lot of new faces this year on the team. You know,
Would you peddle Marshawn and Bergeron?
Nope.
I love Marchand. I don't think we get rid of him. Bergeron, what's he, 37, 38 years old now? I mean,
Would he even let?
I'm not throwing him out either.
I'm not throwing him out either.
Bergeron even go?
And Pasternak's just coming down the pike every day. I mean, this kid's a talented kid. I don't think you get rid of any of those three. I think you just, search the world for some Swedish kid who can score goals or something. I don't know. I mean, it's just there's this elite class of hockey player that just knows how to put the puck in the net,
Would Bergeron even? I know Russ Bergeron's one of your top athletes in the history of Boston sports. Would he even go to a new team?
Probably
I don't think this is a Bork situation. Bork had never won a championship and they were desperate to get him. And, that's why they traded Bork. Bergeron's had his, I don't think he'd want to go. If there was a sweetheart deal and they went to him, would he take one for the team? I guess, but that's a guy who's going to shut it down before he has to go to a new city, I think.
Yeah, I'm sure he has a no trade contract too.
Because you take Tampa Bay out of the picture, I mean, anyone's in the running for the cup.
Right.
There's no great team other than Tampa. There's no one really that scares me that comes into this building that we can't walk away with the win that night.
Right.
The Florida team's pretty good.
I'm higher on this team's potential, I think, than you guys are. They played fewer games, I think, than any team in the NHL. You go on a run and win 8 out of 10, and all of a sudden life looks different. I don't know. They've got talent.
They just need to start putting that puck over the line.
Yeah.
So how much? Wait!
I just want to say this: they consistently outshoot teams and lose.
Yeah.
Yes.
Well, that's been the history of the Bruins forever.
Well, Claude loved that. He wanted you shooting from your own zone.
They've always been doing that. I mean, they haven't had the skill guys that other teams have had.
So right now the Bruins are 17-10. The Lightning are 35-22.
Wow. We're a few more games, huh?
But the second place team is 33-22. So
what's the NHL going to have double headers?
We're not that far out of it, really. We're in 4th out of 5, but I mean, everyone's kind of bunched up.
This COVID situation seems to be getting worse as far as shutdowns and I think that we're trending in these sports to having the NBA finals and the NHL finals maybe in front of
right. It seems like the worst of it might be over. The NHL they smartly just hit pause and I think got it out of the system. And I think the NBA seems to have had the worst of it. So hopefully it's past them. You certainly can't postpone an NFL game at this point, can you?
Peyton Pritchard is gone now. He went into the protocol today.
Right.
Well, all right. Well, hey, first of all, Corbin's gone. The new Corbin, Ian Bauer. I want to welcome Ian to the show. He'll be helping us out, and very nice gentleman. I want to thank, of course, the fellas. Please check us out on our website at thegrandstanders.com and tune in again next Wednesday night at 6:30 for another edition of Grandstanders Live. I'm your host, Scott Kerman. Have a great and happy night.